Morning. It's Tim Seymour at 8:15 on Tuesday the 16th, and we're following the European Union's meetings this morning on Greece. What concrete steps we actually get to a resolution on their debt issues. Don't expect one anytime soon. In fact, this is really about Greece coming forward with some concrete steps to slash their budget and some type of universal support blanket that's wrapped around that by the European Union. But all this means there's going to be a lot of pressure that remains on the euro. There's going to be pressure both from growth that's going to be stagnated around the region, perception, obviously, that there are much greater concerns and maybe even hidden derivative instruments. We've got these reports over the last couple of days of huge derivative swaps that were put in place to help hide some of the balance sheet of both Greece and other members of the EU. But mostly the perception that the EU can't raise rates anytime soon. So all of this is part of this weaker euro trade, which means you have a stronger dollar. I've got a chart on the site this morning that talks about where the DXY, the dollar index, is actually really making a trend move higher as we have what we call the golden cross, where the 50 moving days crossing above the 200 moving days, indicating a longer-term trend is intact. So we'll keep an eye on that. But right now, all that's not putting a dent in commodity prices in emerging markets throughout the morning, with most of the emerging world, much of it, I should say, continues in holiday, Carnival in Brazil, Chinese New Year. But India was up 1.17%. Inflation numbers that came out earlier in the week, not putting a dent on the near-term impact. South Korea up 46 basis points into Central Europe. Russia's up over 2% right now, and over a two-day run that's had Russia outperforming the rest of the emerging world. In fact, yet again, seems to be outperforming again this year. Oil producers, which had lagged, Gazprom, one of the big names, people have been underweight. Turkey up 42 bips. Currency also stronger into South Africa, up 43 basis points. Gold ticking higher. A number of the big miners in South Africa starting to look kind of interesting here, as the currency is at the middle to upper end of a range where a weaker rand is very good for a lot of these commodity producers. And into North America this morning, Chile's up 24 basis points. We're looking at U.S. futures that are higher by about 3 points going into what's a relatively light day on economics. In fact, if you look at the U.S. calendar this week, we continue to get the last dregs of earnings, but you've got mostly housing data over the next couple of days into the end of the week. Then we start to get some inflation numbers. But for now, despite the stronger dollar trend, we're seeing a rebound in commodity prices. And remember, you can see commodities rally if the belief is that there's growth out there and there's not inflation. Ultimately, if rates are going higher, it's preemptive. It does not mean you're squelching off all possible growth, and that's the big debate right now for global markets. But emerging, having a very good two-day run, and looks like that continues. Thanks.